Hello, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zandvoort. We're here for round 4 of this D1 World Championship, where we have championship leader OliX not racing today. So can Marko in the Ferrari capitalise and finally take that championship lead? We're racing here at Zandvoort, here in the Netherlands, around this 2.64 mile circuit with 14 corners. There's your active aero zones with your overtaken. You've got 14 corners around this circuit, 4 to the left and 10 to the right. So your front left tyre is going to be very badly punished if you push too hard. Here's your starting grid then for today's race. It is going to be Aaron Gibbo on pole position, after Marko received a bit of a 5-place grid penalty for an incident that wasn't really his fault, but Gibbo capitalising on it. And he's in prime contention now to go for a podium and maybe even win this race if he can nail the start. I think I'm hearing now the drivers are ready, and I think with that we're going to start getting this race underway. I'll meet you trackside. As we head to 5 red lights here at Zandvoort. Lights are off and it's underway, and Gibbo gets a drive-through penalty. Gibbo jumps the start, heading off the grid here at Zandvoort. That puts Tig into the lead of the race. I was going to say I thought Gibbo just moved before the lights went off, and he did. There's got a spinning Williams there. That is Shaz, who has dropped many positions into turn 3. He's got a little bit of a tag, I'm assuming, because that is not the way you want to be fighting, as we have an Aston Martin and a Cadillac side by side into turn 6 steps. No, that's Ibrahim sharling his way past there. So we also got side by side up ahead. That's Pimarauda and Bradders. No, that's Pimarauda and Marko. Pimarauda sending it. Gotta be a restart, people disconnecting. I've not heard anything about a restart yet. And to be fair, it's only 2 people. As down the inside goes Bradders on Marko. That's a late lunge there on the Ferrari. I wonder if that could be classified as a push to pass. I think there was definite contact as Patmore backs out of a move on Marko. We've got 3 drivers starting on the hard tyres. Those are Baban, DJ and Steps. Oh, bit of contact there. It's just Josh the Bear 74 Steps. Or you can add my PlayStation. There was definite contact there. That may have been with Caden, if I'm honest. Let me just check race director, because I'm certain. Nope, not even noted. With definite push to pass, I'm believing that was caused by Caden. So he's definitely going to get a penalty for that. Down the inside he goes, and there is more contact with Caden on Pool Diver, just as he got ahead of Tilted. Unless Shaz is still... I don't even know what that man... Go DJ. Yep, DJ... Up to there as Tsunami makes a move on Tig. What happened with Giro? He jumped the star. That's what happened, Mario. He jumped the star. I'm not joking with you. Look at this. So yeah, bit of a bottle there from the Red Bull driver. As Marko close to the side of Kiki, who's going to try and go round the outside of turn 6, and he get ahead of the Racing Bulls. That is a lovely move from the Ferrari, who is trying to come back in this race to try and see if he can still win after a very poor start from P6, which threw him down at P9 at one point on the opening lap. To be fair, I think Smoosher would have done a better job in the Mercedes than what we're seeing currently from Caden. Like, no hate to Caden, but in a Mercedes, I don't think you should be fighting a Cadillac this hard. Anyway, that's a lovely move from Caden, almost squeezing him onto the grass into turn 7. And the other Mercedes, Tsunami, is off the track there, spinning it into turn 9. It's not going well for the Mercedes guys. I didn't see what happened. I'm pretty certain Sahara going unnoticed. Sahara up to P9. I hadn't even noticed him either. I'll see if I can get a replay from Tsunami's perspective. I'd like to see what he did, whether he was squeezed or just drove onto the grass himself, but I'm certain he went onto the grass going into turn 9. It's an easy thing to do. Nothing really too complex there, as Bradders, Kiki and Pimarelda very close now. Because Bradders has got a left front puncture. He stayed out too long on the mediums and he's blown his left front and he shoves Kiki off the track. So I wonder if that's going to be a penalty for the McLaren driver as he comes into the pit lane now. So, bit of a interesting strategy call. He joined too late and go. What's going on? What's happened? Yeah, as we go to 5 red lights for the second time here at Zandvoort, and it's foot to the floor. We're racing once again here along the beaches, and Pimarelda is going up into second place around the outside. No, he's been tagged by Saharik in the Haas, and that's David going spinning around. You got Shaz as well at the back with Caden at a bit of a crash. Dr. Law has a 10-second penalty for a severe collision with Smoosher, and we have a lot of 10-second penalties. We've got 3 10-second penalties, and I think we've got a virtual safety car on track. I have no clue what happened. Aaron Gibbo has 20 seconds of time penalties. Right, so we're getting a replay here at the start on board with Kiki, and we see Saharik just drives into the back of Pimarelda after out-braking himself, and further back we've got Pingu here getting tagged at the first corner, and as we see it from Caden's perspective, it looks like the two just wheel hook, and that's what took Caden and Shazza. And he's passed now by Michael. He's lost more positions. Gibbo is also past Baban. As there goes Tsunami off track, getting onto the grass on entry into turn 7, and he's lost the back of the car, and he's going to be passed by Dr. Law. It's going from bad to worse for the Mercedes here at the restart. Into the first corner, but Kiki staying ahead. Tig late on the brakes. Around the outside, Kiki trying to hold position. But Kiki backs out and Tig is up into P3. He's tried his best, but it's best to not lose time fighting a leader when you are in the inferior car, but he can still hope. He doesn't know he had more energy. He doesn't know, but Marko and Ruggie side by side into turn 7. Marko getting the lead of the Grand Prix. 13, but doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that far apart. Yeah, it was closer to 35, because otherwise we'd be doing Brad as a spun. Coming out of turn 3. And I believe he's got front wing damage. He has. He's lost a lot of his front wing on the left-hand side. As, oh my goodness, he catches Patmore so quickly. And he's almost crashed massively as he's sending one up the inside. That is a push to pass for sure, but I'm pretty sure that was it was quite dangerous what Patmore did, because Bradders caught up so quickly right on Ruggie's rear wing, and surely this is going to be the overtake for the McLaren, because the Red Bull's harvesting into the first corner. And the McLaren gets good traction. He's on the inside, going into turn 2, and Ruggie backs out. That's Tig up in the second place. Do either of them come into the pits? They're both coming into the pits. So it's now a race in the pit stops to see who can get ahead. And we're going to go back to Ruggie. Has the undercut worked from the Red Bull driver? Or has he thrown this away as he heads down the main straight? You can see Marko there on pit exit. And you can see Tig. Ruggie gets ahead of Tig. So he's undercut one of the leaders and he's right there behind Marko, but he's on the warmer tyres. Dr. Law is in the pits. down the main straight. Does Tig use a little bit more battery? Of course he is. Into the turn 1. Tig up the inside. And he's got ahead of Ruggy. So he's only got Marko in front of him now if he wants this win. So Marko's going to get about half a megajoule extra of electrical power as he does come into the pits finally. I think he's waited too long to do that. He should still be in the top 10. And it also depends what tyre he goes on to. If he's on the hard, he's going to have some tyre advantage. He's going softs. So Patmore will have a tyre advantage over the Mercedes. Tig has left the session. Tig is disconnected. He was going for the lead of the race and he's disconnected. Shaz is just doing that to brag, I'm pretty sure, because he's on fresh mediums. And the man who was going for the lead of the race is now disconnected. If I had a penny for every time I saw someone disconnecting whilst fighting for a podium position, I'd have 3 pennies, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened 3 times. It's almost every single round someone's gone whilst going for either the lead or just a podium in general. Kiki could smell a podium there. As Wise, I think Tsunami's gone off the track. Oh, he's Tsunami's struggling badly on those hard tyres. There are 6 laps to go. I think Tsunami is very much regretting these hards. Duncan P5 and D1 would feed families. It would. Sahara 2 in 1. Oh, big crash there for Tsunami. As he goes into the barrier. And Carrot is going to be crying because that is both of his drivers who have had terrible races. And we have some sort of safety car. Is this a full or a virtual? It's a full safety car. So we have a full safety car on track that might get looked into with 5 laps to go. If the Astons could hurry up, currently the only 2 drivers not in the points, we could get underway with 2 laps to go. Never mind, we're going now. I didn't notice that. Pimaralda immediately getting ahead of Paul Diver as we are underway here at Zandvoort, and Kiki goes on the charge. Watch Tig, I'm watching up front for a moment, Tom. As Pimaralda getting a great run here on the back of the Racing Bulls. Maybe Lussie was correct by saying that Pimaralda's got a good chance. But currently Kiki is still in that podium position with that 10-second to Aaron Gibbo. And Pimaralda's going to send one up the inside. He's not quite close enough. Kiki's just got the overspeed. Going in at turn 8. Around turn 9 they go. Kiki's getting a great exit here on Aaron Gibbo. Could he try and get the podium place for himself and put a car in between himself and Pimaralda, who's sending one up the inside? That's the wrong button. And David finds himself now up onto the podium with Gibbo's penalty. And David now is most certainly going to clear Gibbo down the main straight, where Ruggy is also close to the back of Marko, but he's on worse tyres. Pim could actually win it. He's sending one down the inside on the Red Bull. That is a lovely move from the Williams. And he's up into P3 definitively as Kiki, he had a look at Gibbo going into the first corner, but he wasn't quite able to do it as Pimaralda gets great traction on Ruggy. Pimaralda is absolutely flying. He could actually win this race. As Pimaralda is going to send one on Ruggy up the inside into turn 9. He's currently P3, but he wants this P2 so badly. And he's only got really 1 corner left. So go for it. He's going to send one up the inside on Ruggy. Around the stadium section he goes. He gets better traction. And he's ahead of the Red Bull. Pimaralda going up into second place. But up front, it's back-to-back wins for this man who's going to extend a lead in the championship after taking it in the sprint. Marko wins in Zandvoort. Pimaralda just holds on for P2 by nearly 0.02 of a second. Well done, David, for that move. Michael will finish in 13th. That is a ton of points for Cadillac in BP. First in B1. Steps is going to round out the points in P10, and Gibbo's penalty will see him down in P14, just ahead of Shaz and Tig. I'm not sure what happened to him a few laps to the end, but he spun the car at this very corner. He's going to be gutted there because he was in for a fight of a podium. But Marko, with the reins over the grid, as he had in Silverstone, got a little lucky with the timing of the red flag. But when he got out front, no one could quite catch him. Maybe another lap and Pimarada would have got him. But it's great to see a Williams back on the podium. Ferrari are definitely on the charge after Mercedes had what can only be described as a howler today.